Hey everybody, it's Kia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you guys a YNAB paycheck budget. We haven't done this one in quite a while, and there's a little bit of a difference between the way we do our paycheck budget versus the way we do our paper budget. So our paper budget, or my digital planner budget, is really all about how we're going to be spending that money, what's going to be coming out that payday, and trying to set limits that we can reasonably maintain so that we can achieve our debt payoff goals. We have made a lot of changes and just recently, and we're still trying to update our debt payoff plan. But in the meantime, I'm still pretty focused on trying to create a reasonable budget that we can maintain and live within while still tackling our debt. And one of my other goals, hopefully by the end of the year, is to try to get a full month ahead in our budgeting. We did make a change in December, which is one of the things that I wanted to share with you because this is one of the paychecks we start doing this on, or we do more of this on, I guess. But we did start saving ahead for those future bills. It gives me a little bit of a peace of mind, I guess, by having that money already set aside to cover those bills. And then if something comes up, at least we've got the bills for the next month covered. So that is what we're going to be doing here, is allocating my husband's paycheck through the budget and trying to figure out exactly what we're going to be paying off. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I'll walk through a couple of the changes that we've made. Now, right here up at the top, you can see hidden categories. Are at the bottom, I guess. I've already gone through and hid quite a few categories that we don't use anymore because we have consolidated a lot of our debt. And so because we've consolidated it, we don't necessarily need these categories. And I really just wanted to simplify the budget just a little more so that I don't have so much to scroll through. So that part has been really, really nice. The other thing that we did was we consolidated our savings accounts into two different types of sinking funds. So I have a general sinking fund, which is to cover different types of expenses, things like that, that are going to be coming up. If we have any money, I like to put it into a debt sinking fund category, where then as it builds up, and as you can see, I've got some money built up now, then I can go through and I can reallocate it and decide where we're going to apply that money. We also have some home maintenance that we need to take care of, so we have a category down here: auto fund, homeschool fund, Amazon Prime, Audible, and we do subscribe to Homeschool Planet, which is a digital online planner for lesson planning, tracking days that we did school, and grading, things like that. So that comes in handy with all three of my kids because I do work full time. So having all of our plans in one place is really, really nice. And I do prefer to pay for the annual subscription on that one. So I just have a category down here for that. Now below that, you can't see, but we do have two additional categories. One is for our Microsoft 360 account, our 365, whatever they call it. We do have a subscription, and my kids do use Word on their computers, and I use Word and Excel on my computer, so that is part of our general sinking fund, as well as our YNAB subscription, which has recently been changed over to an annual subscription rather than a monthly subscription. So that is our general sinking fund, and I group our categories underneath these headers so that I can track how much should be in these bank accounts. So each header in here represents a different bank account, and underneath savings I have our emergency fund. I have the two extra savings accounts that I have that we're currently not using. And then at some point, we're hoping to take a vacation. At the moment, we really are focusing on debt. So the system already had one of these accounts in here, and so I figured I would just leave it and maybe in the future we will use it. So that is what we have for sinking funds. Another thing I wanted to point out is right in here, because I am budgeting in the future, I can change my calendar up here at the top. And if you look at the Bank of America spending account, I've got $29.20 in there right now, and I've got $13.50 to budget. Now I do have one category that is overspent, so let me see if I can get it to scroll up. We have our Newegg credit card. We had a little bit of miscommunication between me and my husband. I thought he paid it off when we were consolidating everything, and I guess it didn't get paid off, so the automatic payment came through just this week. So I do have a negative amount in here. But what I wanted to show you is that even though the account says 29.20.28 for the month of June, because I've already started saving for expenses and spending that's going to happen in July, if I change the calendar over to July, it will show me what I have saved through that month as well. Now, because I do have that one item that was overspent, it has adjusted my budget up here to accommodate for that overspending. But we'll clean that up as we go through and record this month's budget. So that is how I have YNAB set up. Let's go ahead and dive in and record this paycheck budget. Let me scroll up on my list on my other screen over here so that we can just zoom right through. And the first thing that I want to do is actually expand all of these categories really quick. I'm going to scroll down so you can see. And Newegg, I need to cover the spending, and we are going to cover it from the debt sinking fund. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK right there. And now I don't have to worry about that overspending adjusting the amount up here on me. So that's the first thing I wanted to do. The next thing that I need to do is go ahead and change over to July, because we are going to start saving for July expenses. So the first one is going to be my Adobe subscription. I do use Adobe. I like to create my planner pages, printables. I also create things, pages and fillable forms and things like that for work. And I really enjoy my Adobe subscription, so I do want to continue to have that. I do need to scroll down and find UHEA. That is my student loan. I need to scroll back up and find our Kindle Unlimited subscription. We're going to scroll down again, find my not life insurance, but our auto insurance, which you can barely see that, but it is there on the category. There we go. So we have our auto insurance right here. We are also going to do Netflix and Spotify, and we're going to put money into our internet. So I do have my bills in order by due date, but when I save for them, I just kind of stuck whatever I could fit into that payday. So they're not always in the same order on my list. So if I scroll down, the next thing that I'm going to have is my Citi card. We are paying $300 towards that account, and that was one of the ways we did our consolidation. So we did get a $4,500 credit limit, I believe, and they allowed us to do up to like 3 or 4 different balance transfers onto that card. So we picked 2 of the larger cards that we had, and we went ahead and transferred them on over to this one. And for the rest of our consolidation, we actually received a personal loan through Payoff. We paid one off last year, and this year we are consolidating the majority of the rest of the credit cards that we have into a new Payoff loan with a 3-year term. So I went with the shortest term that I could while still keeping the payment about what we were paying before. And the difference between all of our minimum payments on what we were paying and that payoff loan is going into the city card. Everything else will be considered debt snowball money, and we will just tackle that as we see the money come through each month on our paychecks. So that pretty much takes care of our July budgeting. So if I go back to June, I still have $575 left over. Now, there are a couple things that I need to change, and I'm sorry if my voice is a little crackly. Um, I've been having issues with my voice going out on me. But down here, right under Auto Fund, which you can't see, is I have an emergency fund. So let me see if there's any way. No, I don't think I'm going to get it there. Let me consolidate all of those. So the first thing that I need to do is I did have $125 left over for our Amazon Prime membership. It just cleared the bank in the last week or so, and I need to move this up to the Chase Amazon card because that's where it actually came through on. So I'm just going to find it in the list, which I know you can't really see right now, but I'm going to go ahead and move that money over there. And now if I scroll through, I should be able to see it right here. So I did just move $125 from sinking funds to cover that subscription. And now the next thing that we need to do is go through and allocate the rest of this $575 and the amount of money that we have left over in debt sinking funds. The first of the month we allocate for a lot of our spending, and we don't really contribute a whole lot more to the debt sinking fund. We do that mid-month generally. So now that we're ready to start applying all this money, we're going to go through and tell it which credit cards we're going to apply it onto. So one thing that I do need to decide on is this Bank of America account we had our Newegg card come out of. I'll probably wait to figure out how we're going to pay that one off because it doesn't fit in my previous plan. And it's going to have a small balance on there. I think the card only had a $500 limit on it to begin with. But we're not going to be able to pay off another card if I pay that one off. And I would rather pay off the larger cards at the moment than this small one. So I think I'm going to leave this one in there. The other thing that we're going to have is that my paycheck budget is changing. We did recently get me health insurance, and then we bought dental and vision for the family. And my husband and kids really need to get into the dentist. I need some cleanings done, and my husband has been fighting with a toothache. So I want to make sure that I have a little bit of money left over for that when our insurance becomes active at the first of the month. So I think I'm going to leave Newegg alone, and I'm going to go ahead and work through the rest of our plan. So over here I have our Chase Amazon card. And the card actually has a balance of $450 on there. Because I already had budgeted for the Amazon Prime, which is part of that balance, I'm going to subtract that out, and I'm going to need to add $325 to this category so that I can pay that card off. The other card that we are going to be paying down or paying off is actually this Capital One Visa card. This is another one that my husband has, and it's got a really small balance too. It's sitting at $405. So I have $250 up there now. So if I take $405 minus $250 on my calculator down here, that means that I'm going to have to pull $155 from the debt sinking fund category to be able to pay this card off. So I'm going to go ahead and move that money over there. And then that leaves the Wayfair and Best Buy. So we did have some interest charges come through on Wayfair and Best Buy. So if I can find them. Oh, no, I hid them, which is why we can't see them. But it's not giving me the option to unhide. So now I'm a little lost on why I can't unhide those categories. But I do have the Wayfair and Best Buy cards on here, so I will use the interest expense category in here since I can't go in and unhide the other ones. I know I saw them just a little bit, so I must have changed a filter somewhere along the lines. But we're going to put $10 in there for Wayfair and then another $15 for Best Buy to cover part of the interest that carried forward. And then that should leave us with $947. So with the $947, which I'm going to do a quick refresh on my screen because it didn't change the amount up top. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and hold off. I do have a balance on the Capital One Walmart Rewards card. Right now it's sitting at $11.32, but I have been using that one for groceries because we get cash back on our grocery purchases. And I have $393 budgeted left for groceries. I'm pretty sure I probably spent about $250, maybe close to $300 on that card. So that's going to come off of that balance, and then the rest can come out of the debt sinking fund. And that should pretty much clean up everything but the remaining Best Buy balance and that New Egg card, which we can tackle next month, hopefully. So that is our paycheck budget. I know it seemed kind of long. I just wanted to explain how we were saving money back for the future. And then sometimes it takes me a minute to remember what the previous plan was. I should have pulled it up on the digital planner. That way I could remember which cards we were going to pay off. But that is where we're at. I am pretty excited. We've already got the city card down under $4,000, which is the one that we consolidated everything onto. As soon as the next payment comes through, it's going to be right around $3,600. So we are making progress on that. Our goal is to have that one paid off by the end of the year. We are just going to make regular payments on the payoff loan this year. Probably try to have it paid off by the end of next year. So instead of paying on that loan for 3 years, we're going to try to shrink that down to a year and a half. So those are some of our future plans. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next paycheck budget. Have a wonderful week, you guys. Bye.